Well, it's Slow Whisper with Rust for the PC. If you've ever wanted to play this game, never tried, or just started, I'm just gonna start a game, give you a few tips. I have played on this server previously, but it's been a lot of weeks, so I have nothing right now. To get to your inventory, we'll start real quick. Hit Tab. You can see your inventory is pretty much empty except for this stone, well, rock, and a torch. That's it. In my underwear. That's all you get. If you notice, this is a modded server because you can see this backpack right here. So I have it bound to B. So if I hit B, you can see there's another inventory, so to speak, a second one, depending on the server. Now this is a modded PVE server, player versus environment. Some servers have a backpack, some don't. So it just depends on what you're playing and how you want to play the game. Some people play PVE, some people prefer the PvP, and some people don't ever mix the two. But the good thing about these games, you can start out in a PvE, kind of learn the game a little bit and movement, and be able to defend yourself a little bit on a PvP server, and also learn how to build and things like that, and where to find resources. If you notice in the bottom right, my health is at 56, my water level intake is at 88, and food, we're way down at 87. Now, if you notice to the left of that graph, you can see woodcutting, mining, skinning, acquiring. Now, in this particular modded server, they have where you can actually increase your skill level in woodcutting, mining, skinning, and acquiring, which instead of grabbing like 10 things as you go up in levels, you can grab 20 things or 30, or, as an example. Now, anytime you hold down G, you can see you're here looking at the map. You can see where I'm right here. You see a junkyard, airfield over here. Now, one thing, if you're about naked on a lot of servers, maybe radiation. So anytime you're around any built-up area, monuments as they're called in Rust, water treatment, supermarkets not so much, but a lot of the bigger things, yeah. So you got to keep that in mind. These are roads. It's good to travel the roads sometime because you find barrels you can break for items, and also things that you can use for recycling. So we see some barrels right here. Only thing we have on us is a rock and a torch. You see these little milk crate looking things? Always open these. As you can see here, we got some food, and which is always a good thing, because when you start the game, you will starve to death. Sometimes in the beginning. Now, I had one item at 3 and one at 4 on the slot. So I hit 3, ate one, hit 4, ate another. You notice you saved the can because you could recycle that can for other things. You break these barrels, you find scrap, which is money when it comes to Rust. So like I found a bucket and I found some scrap. So this stuff I can recycle. This is money, we'll keep it, because you buy things with that. Now you want to look out for these pot plants, which are actually hemp plants. Boom. As you see, we got 14 pieces of cloth out of that hemp. And as you can see, this quick craft pops up. I have enough resources to make these things right here. So let's do this. Let's make a pair of shoes, which we did. Put our shoes on. You notice now protection from wild animals at 2%, radiation 2%, and from cold 3%. And you notice here also, we only can make one bandage, but better to have one bandage than none at all. So we got shoes and underwear now. So I got 2 hemp seeds, so that's at number 3. So I'm just going to, if you see that blue, just left click and you'll plant that hemp. So the next person comes along, or next time maybe you're coming through, you can pick those hemp plants. These grassy areas are good places to find hemp, and also individual pieces of like wood, stone, and in this case sulfur ore. You see I just grabbed 105. If you notice in the bottom right, my acquiring is going up because I'm picking things up. You always want to get these little chests here. You want to watch out too, because some of these have a scientist that's usually armed. Right click on the box, the item, and it'll throw it into your inventory. You can use these, we'll probably save those for right now. That's a fuse, and I'll show you what you do with those at some point. You want to look for a little red, it looks like a little red toolbox. I'm not worried about just getting more of those. There's some deer running by. They will kick you, by the way. Now, when you run into these areas here, there's a couple more of them, is woods. In woods, you can find things like, we're going to go on this truck first and get that box. You know, and here's some road signs. That's just more things that I'll be able to recycle. So let's go over here, see if we can find some potato plants, or like right here, we found some hemp. Just kind of look. Mushrooms are orange in color, like an orange color. Grab some sulfur ore right there. This is always good when you're starting out to look for these areas that have some woods on them, because you're apt to find some food. Potato plants are harder to see. They're dark green in color. You got to watch out when you first start. Depending on the server, there might be very high radiation, like I mentioned. So even going into a place like this may be high radiation. I don't see it anywhere on the screen showing there's high radiation, so. Okay, we're clear. They're throwing some worms in here. I don't use them, so I don't worry about them. We'll plant that hemp right there. But yeah, just check all these areas. I wanted to get over here by the mining outpost because there's chests in there. There's another piece of hemp. So as you can see, if we jump into our screen here, I'm going to make a pair of pants. That'll be next on the list. Now watch those levels go up. As you can see, now they're 5, 4, and 10. Got a little bit of clothes on. Now I can make a pair of gloves, so I'm going to go ahead and make a pair of gloves. And as you see, you just keep going up. But always keep your eyes peeled, especially in the beginning, for things like mushrooms, potatoes, hemp plants, because it's going to help you. You have to watch out some of these areas where there's a truck. They have a scientist that's armed and will shoot you if you get near it. I just happened to notice this hemp over here. You also will notice, well, if we go back one, we have the pants, so I'm going to go ahead and make the shirt. And so we can also make the little head part here. And every bit just helps us a little bit, so. Yeah, watch out for those things because they will kick you. Just seeing if there's any. Yep, there was one. I've got 2 cans. I'm going to go ahead and eat both of those. As you notice, you get a little food and you get some water there too. So let's just run down here. But I do know there's, if you see, there's a bear out there in the water, so we don't want to get too close to that because bears will outrun you. If you run into one of these red barrels, this is where we get our fuel and our oil. I'm just gonna kind of hug the wall a little bit, and you can see there's a scientist over there. Just peeking up over that hill, walking back and forth, so. As you can see him there. You have to watch out for him because he will shoot you dead real quick. So what we'll do, we're gonna watch, and when he starts going that way, we'll start going that way. And that's my backpack from where he killed me. So. Go ahead, keep walking. So I grabbed a little bit of stuff I had, and we'll just keep moving down toward the mining. You have to watch out on these servers a lot. They may have murderers, zombies, whatever they want to call them on their particular server that just kind of randomly run around. Like, here's some more fuel. We'll definitely get the fuel. These tarps you can use to make things like planting boxes to plant things in, because there is some farming on here. We're going to run over here. This is that little mining outpost we saw on the map. It's kind of a buffet of all the stuff you can find in here. So these little boxes, you can always find stuff. I like the other thing better. So we can recycle that. Wood you can recycle. There's one of those planters I was talking about. This is a repair bin, so if you ever have anything you need repairing, you can do that right here. I don't need a, well, I can recycle those. Hey, we got a jacket. So, as you notice, our protection from cold went all the way up to 38. So, 16 on the radiation and 20 from wild animals. So, you know, it's just one more thing, helps you live a little bit. This, we'll take those because we can recycle them. So we're just going to go over here and start recycling. This is a recycle. This is what it looks like. You right click with your inventory open, it's just going to throw the stuff right in here. I don't know why this is. That's why. There you go. Turn it on. And as one clears, throw something else in there. It's a good way sometimes in the beginning especially to get some free wood, free stone. We got a little bit of stone there. Yeah, just keep, especially in the beginning, everything you find, because you can recycle it. And the more things you recycle, you get like metal fragments that you use to make things, including buildings. You got high quality metal. Like if you get rid of clothing, you get cloth back. I'm going to go ahead and recycle those for now. As you can see, we pretty much recycled everything except for our stone. I'm going to go ahead and do that too, because I'm not going to be planting anything for a bit. So as you notice here, we got our money. We're up to 130. And we got some fuel. And we got some oil, which later on we'll convert this from oil to fuel. Let's get a little bit of stone and we will make a bow. Over here, I'm at it. There's a little toolbox on that truck, so maybe we'll luck out and get either a tool we can use or a bow. Well, we found a better pair of pants. If you notice, these are 1010-3275. Oh, and it gives you candy vision. These, instead of 1010-32, it's 1515. So we're, as you can see, we're 38, 16, and 20 down here. Helps a little bit, and those look nicer. I'm just going to go recycle a couple things real quick. There's another, I don't think you can recycle that one. Get rid of these, so we're going to recycle that. Recycle this. So you see that, you know, a little bit of food we got is kind of keeping us in food and water. So we don't have to worry about food and water at the moment. I like to, if you go here to your crafting, let's see how much, we need a little bit more. We'll make a sleeping bag. I like to run around with a sleeping bag because you can always drop it real quick if you know you're about to die. And at least if you do die, you can choose to spawn back at your sleeping bag. But whatever killed you might be close by. So if you notice, I just found some wood there, and here's a piece of hemp. So if you notice, we need one more piece of hemp. These fields like this is a good place for hemp because you can usually see them pretty far away. There's some mushrooms, but first let's go up here and get this wood that's up here I just saw. As you can see, you can also come to these. When you see these big stones like this is what you're going to use for building buildings and using to build different things. So if you take whatever you're using, a pickaxe or a stone, or we got a rock, just try to hit right there where that star is, because you get more than if you notice it's kind of over here now, because if we hit here, look, you see we're hitting for 12. If you hit right where the star is, you notice we hit for 19. So especially in the beginning, later on with better weapons and tools, it won't make as big a difference, but early on it makes it matters, because you could get an extra 50 stone or something like that. But stone kind of sucks sometimes getting it too. And you just keep beating on it until it disappears like that. So if you notice, we now have some stone and we got some wood. So let's go over here to weapons. We need some more cloth. And we'll do that, and then we'll come over here and we'll make some arrows. So, but let's see if we can find a little more cloth. And I do know there was some mushrooms down here. You can see them there. There's also a murderer right there, if you notice over there. So we'll let the murderer have these and try to get over here at these. Okay, so we got those and we live to talk about it. The good thing on these mushrooms, you can see them up way off. And there's a hemp we needed. Gonna make that sleeping bag, but I like having at least a bow to defend yourself. So let's jump back over here. We'll, what else we need? Oh, that didn't quite give us enough, did it? Let's look a little bit more in the grass. Yeah, these mushrooms will keep you alive in the beginning of the game. And keep in mind when you find these areas on the map that, for instance here, if something's chasing you, you can jump up here and, get over here and get up off the ground. It's good for wild animals. Now the murderers in them a lot of times, as you'll see them with a little, like a can grenade. There is fuel there, but let's check for food here. If for whatever reason you get radiated, you can take these pills and it'll help calm down the radiation. Now, just be aware that it will use your water. Your water will drop very quickly for every pill you take. So you got to keep that in mind also. If you remember earlier, I was showing you there's a way you can take. So we can take this, put it in here, and we will turn this oil into a usable low-grade fuel, which, like I said, is like our gasoline in Rust. So we'll just let that run a minute. We'll go ahead and get a little more while we're right here. I really don't want to sit and take a lot of time to do that. Take your charcoal with you. You can use that for trade skilling, making things. Harbor's always a good place because you have a recycler here, as you saw. You can take your oil, turn it into fuel, and it's usually pretty quiet on this server anyway. By the way, if you hold down the control, you kind of like duck down. I just grab these when I see them, just because it's, every little bit helps. But you can go to these different areas and just, like any kind of survival game, a big part of the game is exploration. So this is actually like a subway. You can go down into the subway, and, that's a whole other exploring down there. You can actually scuba dive. If you notice those barrels and things that are floating, you can actually go out there and scuba dive down and find chests on the bottom that you can find different things. So we're going to look at the map, see where we're at. I think the best course of action, I want to get out of this area, so I'm just going to, there's that whatever it was there. And in the beginning especially, I grab, if I find food, I'm going to grab it because, you might not need it right at this second, but we're not going to bother him right now because all we have is a rock. And here he comes anyway. We tried to kill him. So I'm right here. It shows on the map. It shows how long you stayed alive. Showed who killed you and how far away they were. So if you hit respawn, press a button, and as always, you start out here by the beach. So we look on the map. So I'm right here. I just died right here. So we know we need at least one piece of hemp to get that other 8 pieces of cloth that we need to make a bow. Once we have a bow, then you know, the game changes a lot. Because when you start out, it's you don't have much to defend yourself. Now, you can start the game any way you want. Sometimes I immediately try to get some stone and wood and get a bow to begin with. So it just depends on how you yourself want to play the game. So I'm just going to make kind of a quick dash over there. If I see anything good along the way, I'll grab it. And sometime it's been a while since you just came through here, so you may things be respawned, barrels and hemp or whatever the case may be. You see somebody build a little, start up a base up there on the rocks there. Here's some hemp. There's a horse. You can actually jump on these and ride the horse around if you so desire. But I want to run over here. You can actually keep a horse at your base. You must feed it. I just ran through, see if I happen to see any mushrooms, potatoes. So we're just going to heading straight to where I died. I mean, I already had some wood. I could have made a little wood hatchet or a pickaxe, even better. But, you know, in the beginning you don't have much, so there's some hemp here. So at least when we catch up to the body, get the stuff back, we'll have enough hemp to be able to defend ourselves a lot better than with a rock. You can see that's that little area I was in. We're going to go down here because I think there's a little toolbox right here. Well, I ended up with, as you can see, some 12 gauge. There's now we have to watch for this murderer when we get closer up here. He may, sometimes they hang out at your body. Okay, there's one over there. So what we'll do is we'll go up on the hill. We'll be able to see a little bit. We're going to vote to skip the night. Voting was successful. Yeah, let's let the light come up a little bit. believe. That's not the one we were. Good, we'll get over there just about time the sun's coming up. I hear a chicken. Don't have time here, Mr. Chicken. I heard a bear, I just didn't see it. And if you notice, I'm starving, so I need to get back to my body so I can eat some food. Uh-oh, it's still here. Okay, if you noticed, I made my bow and some arrows. Where did he go? There he is. Goodbye, murderer. Oh, cool. Got a Frankenstein head. The corn. Eat that. And per usual, you get some seeds back. Let's get the rest of the stuff. Well, I always like to grab that. We got a pitchfork, I'll grab that. Don't care about the grub. Oops. Kind of got a lot of stuff here. Let's put the shoes on. Put this down here. Get rid of these. Since I have these, I'm going to go ahead and use the backpack. Get stuff out of my way, and a lot of this recycle stuff. Certain things you want to keep, cloth being one of them. I'll leave this down here because I got to make a sleeping bag anyway. There's a bear rug, different things like that. You can, that graveyard fence, you can either save it, use it later, or you can just use it in your first base and have a bearskin rug on the floor. So whatever you want to do. You notice the mushrooms are great for food. You don't get so much on the water, but if you notice, you do get something. So this we'll put back over here. I always try to keep a water bottle, especially in the beginning. It gives you the ability to drink a little bit so you don't die of thirst. So, well, this was the first in a series. I'm going to do more, and if you like what you're seeing, if you had any questions or comments, like I said, there's a million ways to start the game. This is just one of them, just to show you a few tips in the beginning so you can have a little better survival rate, especially in the beginning. You can always hear that bear from way off. He kind of stomps his feet around. So, well, I'll catch you on the next one.